Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video we are going to learn how we can create a line chart in our Laravel project as a backend and React as a front end. In here as a demo, as you guys can see, I have a line chart where you can enable and disable any lines you want, and it will show based on each date, and also it will show the X and Y axis with the title in here. So let's see how we can build this in our project. First of all, we have to create a new model with the name of product transaction with the migration and controller. Then after that, let's go to our database folder, migrations, and select our newly created migration file. Then in this file, we are going to create product ID column, transaction type, quantity, price, and status. Then after that, we have to go to inside our app folder, HTTP, and inside our controllers, then we have to select our newly created controller to create the method and fetch our data. In here we have to create a new method with the name of line chart, and inside here we have to create a new variable with the name of transaction and set it to our product transaction model. Then from product transaction model we have to select date, transaction type, quantity, and group them by date and transaction type. Then let's get them all of them by typing get to execute our query. After that, we have to return our response by typing return response as a JSON, and we have to send our transaction. Now to access this method, we also need to create a route for this. So let's go to inside our routes folder and select api.php. Inside here, let's create a group route with the prefix of charts, and inside here let's create our route. Now this is it for our back end, for our Laravel part. Now we have to go and create our front end and React. So in the React part we need Axios and Chart.js. Once both of them are installed, then we have to go inside our front end project and create a new component with the name of line charts. Then inside this component we have to import React use effect, use state from React, chart from Chart.js. Then at the end we have to import Axios. Then let's create a new method and define our component, and let's name it line chart. Then inside here let's create a new const with the name of chart and give them a default value of labels and dataset. We also have to create another const for instance of our chart. By default this will be null. Now at the final part we have to export our component so we can use it anywhere we want. Now let's create a function to fetch our data from the server. So in here we are going to create a new function with the name of fetch data, and inside here we will make a GET request to the API to retrieve the line data, then initialize an object to hold totals for each data, and we are going to loop through our data. Then inside our loop we are going to get the data from the item, get the transaction type from the item, convert the total quantity to a number. Then we are going to check if the data doesn't exist in the totals object, create an entry for it. Now let's initialize by cell and return totals to 0. Then we are going to increment the total for the corresponding transaction type. Now let's prepare our data for the chart. So let's extract the date as a label, create an array of by quantities, create an array of cell quantities, and also let's create an array of return quantities. Now we are going to set the chart data state. So let's set chart data and set the label and set the data set by cell and return. Now let's start by creating our chart. For that, first of all we need to use effect and attach this with our chart data. So whenever our chart data change, it should trigger our Chart.js. Then in here we are going to check if there is a label in our chart data. In that case we are going to get the label of our canvas, which is line chart. We are going to create this later and store it inside our ctx constants. Then in here we are going to check if an instance of Chart.js already exists. Then we are going to destroy it. Otherwise we are going to create a new instance of our chart and set the type to line and the data to chart data. Then in the options we are going to set the scale, and we are going to set the X title and also the Y title to quantity, and we are going to say that scales should start from the 0. Now let's save the new chart instance. Then after this we have to return our components. So in here we are going to type return, and we are going to return our HTML divs. Then inside here we are going to check if the data label exists. Then in that case we will create a new canvas with the ID of line chart, so we can add our chart in here. Otherwise we are just going to show loading chart. Now if we come to our browser and refresh our page, in here it will show loading. Let's refresh one more time. Now you see it will show loading before we fetch the data. Then after we fetch the data, it will show our chart. In here we can enable and disable any part we want. For example, we want to see only the return, so we are going to disable this too. Now we are only see the return. Similarly for the cell also we can do, and as you guys can see there's a little animation, also a very good animation. So our chart is ready. So this is it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions, write it down in the comments. See you guys in the next video.